Well, you know how you asked me what innovation is,
Mm,
and I told you it's that point of view. It's the way that prism, the way that you look at it, and the angle that you catch. Um, I think really it's opening that angle as wide as possible. I think innovation, it doesn't only mean different things to different people and organizations. It actually is different things.
yeah.
And for organizations to innovate, they actually one of the things that they need to do is just kind of step out of their own shell and really look at things from not just an outside in, but also different types of angles. Now, of course, another way I think is really in order to innovate, you have to be a little bit off guard. So you have to take a
Mm,
little bit of that the guards that you have on a day-to-day basis. I think our ability to create that intimate discussion through understanding our
yeah.
client's business, understanding the market, understanding the sector, through deep expertise, but also through deep personal relationship. I think that's definitely something that can drive innovation. And obviously, lastly, is the ability to really bring in that deep understanding from different places. If it's from technology, quantum, AI, and cloud. If it's for sector expertise, if it's around social changes, and just kind of pull those together and create an all-encompassing discussion around the different angles of an initiative or a challenge, that really brings value.
It certainly does, and I think that there lies both an opportunity but also a challenge in that, because all the different change factors you just mentioned, that includes economic, societal, but also technological factors. The number of change factors you have to observe over time is just increasing, and it's getting faster and faster. So this opens up new opportunities, sure, for growth, but also you need to make sure, with that business areas and those manifold opportunities, you also maintain a balanced innovation portfolio, right? So not only shoot for the moonshots, for the crazy 10x, 100x opportunities, but also to have something in the core business and also in the adjacent business. So, how does KPMG look at that? And how could you possibly try to build and also maintain a balanced innovation portfolio given all these things that are happening right now?
Yeah, that's thank you so much for asking me that question, because maybe to balance my previous answer, I would
Mm,
say, it's not about that moonshot, and it's not about dispersing
yeah,
your efforts around innovation to touch this, that, and the other. It really does have to start with the core business, and you're kind of breaking the barriers to think of what this business could be. What is the
yeah,
potential? So first of all, looking at the big picture and understanding what could we be, and then focusing on the organization's strategy, what it aspires to be, and really diving into specific and focused initiatives. When I say, society, technology, the environment, and so many other factors, I actually say that when we focus at a specific challenge or place that we want to be, when we target ourselves to a point of where we want to be, we have to take those in mind. But we actually have to drive focused initiatives that have looked at that. I think driving a portfolio of innovation cannot be a thing of its own. It really goes to a firm's, an organization, a company's strategy and what they want to be. And through that strategy, even thinking about today, not even about tomorrow or the day after that, requires innovation, because you want to make today better. So you want to really look at how could you become better today? What kind of an organization, an entity would you like to be tomorrow? When I say tomorrow, I mean in 3 or 5 years.
yeah.
And what kind of an organization, what is the meaning and the purpose of what you want to be in 10 years from now? And that's part of why I love looking at the future, because you can actually go back and forth and understand how to adjust yourself today and tomorrow to become what you want to be the day after that.
Yeah, it's taking also those very concrete steps also in the core business.
sure.
Absolutely agreed. Yes. So is there any way how you actually measure innovation success? I mean, it's an ongoing debate, right, about how to make sure you measure output and outcome from innovation, and then going forward also success of innovation. Do you have any I don't know, framework, any procedure how to measure success of innovation?
Well, I think for us, it's an ongoing discussion internally as well as with our clients. We do have a methodology of, how to create innovation steps within an organization and how to measure. But let me just go back to the core of it.
Yeah.
In fact, just by splitting, kind of separating innovation from the core activity, you actually do a little bit of harm and injustice to what it is that you do. So I would say, how do you manage and measure an organization's success in their strategy? So there are clear KPIs to do that. I think it starts with the strategy, and once you set that strategy, ask yourself, have I been innovative? Have I actually stepped out of the boundaries of myself as an organization, of what I want to be? Once you do that, and your strategy is set to innovate, you can just measure the success of actually executing on that strategy. So I think in many terms, organizations still don't do the first step, which is actually just look at the way that we've built the process of driving our strategy, our corporate, our organization, our local or global strategy. Once we look at that and say, have we been innovative enough? And by innovative, really made sure that we have aimed to be the best organization that we think we could be, all things given, and really kind of strived to break the boundaries of what we think, the business world and the world in general, like just hand out to us. And I think that once you do that, then you can just go ahead and measure your own KPIs. And then after having said that, yes, for sure, we've developed very clear methods of innovating. One of them is co-innovating and co-ideating with our ecosystem. And the way that we measure that is how many times we actually do that together with clients and third parties and just different parts of our ecosystem.
Yeah, I think this is a very good way how to look at that, right? Because sometimes organizations still confuse or maybe misalign their innovation efforts with the actual the corporate strategy, the company's strategy, right? So they, of course, then create many different or use many different instruments of innovation, be it some labs, accelerators, venture builders. You have not, right? So there is tons of instruments you can build, and obviously they have their very own purpose. But sometimes they seem to be disconnected to, for example, a growth strategy or growth ambitions. So, questions, for example, how much of the overall organization's growth should be attributed to innovation or covered by innovation efforts. These are things that clearly help to tying this to, for example, then the company strategy, as you say. So start with the strategy and make sure innovation efforts are really embedded in what the overall organization does. And if it's moonshots, okay, well, fine, but then certainly a small proportion or a big bet, but a small proportion of the growth portfolio might, maybe come sometimes from those moonshot projects. But how would you know? So that's a really good answer, right? Tying this to the strategy and make sure it's embedded in the organization and not some crazy guys running somewhere around, right?
And I'll maybe add some things short to that. I'll say, I do think that there is true value in experimentation and creating those projects on the side. I think it really has to do with the appetite an organization has to try different things and different, be it different ways of working, different business models, and so on. So every organization really has to identify their own appetite. But one thing that is very clear for us, those initiatives and experiments do sometimes need to be siloed, but they need to be really quickly assessed to see if they do somehow go back to the organization strategy. So we say fail fast. If you intend to succeed, you'll see it really quickly. If it succeeds, then that's great. Also, never intend to succeed 100% of the time, because
Sure.
that's that's a really terrible strategy, because you'll only go for safe bets. So really
True.
try
Yeah.
to, to envision what the level of failure it is that your organization is willing to accept, and then by that allow yourself to bet, to drive experimentation in other areas, and really live by that. I don't know, let's say it's a 50-50. We think 50% is going to succeed, 50% is going to fail.
Sure.
If you see it's failing, fail fast. And then the pain of failure will not be that high. And you'll actually start working on that muscle, which is experimentation, which is something that basically we do every day of our lives. Even in the way that we interact, we interact in a certain way. We look at how someone responds, and we adjust ourselves really quickly. So the adjusting part, that's very important.
Yeah. So you have fail fast and learn fast, obviously, right? So adjust. So I love that. Yeah. That is great advice.